Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Game 2 of the finals of the FIDE World Chess Cup 2015. It's a 4 games scheduled in the final, unlike the rest of the tournament. It's a knockout setup where you play 2 games and tie breaks if necessary. In Game 1, Sergei Karjakin as white in this game blundered and lost to Peter Svidler as black. 2 top players. And I'll tell you the truth, in a knockout setup like this, where they start out with 128 players, this is the final 2. I don't think you win. I think you just survive. Anyway, folks, Sergei Karjakin is kind of licking his wounds. He blundered in Game 1. Peter Svidler took advantage of it and won, so he's 1 game up. And there's only 4 games in the series, so it's tough. Let's see how it works out. Karjakin is white. Svidler is black. It's going to be a close, really low pay. Let's get to it. Go through the opening a little bit here. Bishop, rook is typical stuff. Pawn. That pawn is there to kind of tuck away. It helps guard the square, but at the same time tucks away the bishop. H3, just to stop that incredibly annoying pin. This pin here. Incredibly annoying because your light squared bishop's all the way over here. So H3, knight goes back. Interesting. Now the computer likes knight A5 to chase the bishop off. I guess the idea, and I kind of go along with that, is you end up going here, bishop comes back, knight goes here maybe. But knight B8, who might have second guessed Peter Svidler, 8-time Russian champion. D4, typical after C3. Knight BD7. Now, if you notice, they don't play like we do, us amateurs play. Whenever there's tension in the middle of the board, they leave it. They don't automatically recapture, especially pawns. Not unless it's their advantage, which in this case it isn't. Brings the other knight out. Now, you'll see a lot in a really low pay where the queen knight will end up on G3. Well, for a couple of reasons. One, it's a good spot, and 2 is it opens up the bishop. Bishop B7, bishop C2. Now he wants to move the knight and only have 1 guard, and there's 2 attacking it, so he's got to move the bishop first, pick the pawn. Rook E8, A4, just to open it up a little bit on the king side, I think. Bishop comes back. Interesting move there. That, of course, is rook on E8. Needs him to guard that file. So he just tucks the bishop away. Bishop D3. C6. You saw white was going to win a pawn. Pawn takes, bishop takes. So you go C6 to stop that. It blocks off his light squared bishop on B7. That's only temporary. Queen to C2. I really like that queen bishop battery right here. Bearing right down. Freezing that knight temporarily once that pawn moves. Rook C8. Finally, pawn take. A takes. I don't really care for this move much. Not that I'm second guessing Karjakin, world-class player. Knight B3 is interesting. D takes E. But a top 3 moves on the computer are all basically the same score. He goes B4. And I understand why he did that. But it makes his pawn backwards. That's the only drawback. And that's the last book move according to the computer. C5. Busted up the pawns a little bit. B takes. E takes. Now that's the computer that did that. It's showing that Black is ganging up on the e4 pawn. c6. D takes. C takes. C takes. This is dangerous stuff, but it looks a lot worse than it really is. After queen takes, rook goes to b8. Now, how's white going to save that pawn on b7? He's not really going to, I don't think. Bishop takes, queen here, rook b1. Now it's starting to get dangerous. Now, what would you take here? The rook or the queen? Takes with the queen. Bishop comes back, exposing the attack on the queen. But there's not a really good spot for that bishop, so there's nothing you could really take. Even if you went bishop takes, queen takes, and the rook is guarded here, so you're okay. Bishop d3. I like white's position here, I really do. The only drawback that I see for black is the isolated d-pawn. But he does have a bishop against the knight. Queen a8. Interesting move there. Also, it's the computer move, believe it or not. Well, a big surprise. These guys are world-class players. Of course, they'll find the computer move. Queen a8. Rook takes. Rook takes. Bishop b2. Just keeping an eyeball down on black's king side here. Queen a2. Rook e2. h6. Just to stop any shenanigans with the queen going there, maybe the knight. Queen to c1. As you can see, the queen and the rook are guarding, so the bishop's okay. Queen to b3. Bishop c4, hitting the queen. Queen goes back to b7. Now this looks very drawish, actually. I think white's probably has the only winning chances. I don't know, take a look at the position. What do you think? Queen to d1. Rook e8. You can tell this is getting a drawish territory. So this pawn's getting hit twice. By the knight and the rook. Instead of guarding it again. And Karjakin lost the first game. This is only a 4-game match in the finals here. I don't like the move, frankly. I think e5 might have been better. But he decided to play bishop takes, knight takes, and then he plays e5. Okay. Same difference as we say here in the States. Still very drawish. Pawn takes, knight takes, rook e7. Bishop knight against bishop knight, but the bishop's the opposite color. Queen to d4. d7 for the knight. Knight takes the pawn. Interesting though. Instead, the computer likes rook to e3 and knight to g4, and I'm wondering if that's a decent move or not. I'm kind of looking at it here. I looked at it earlier today. I like g4, be honest with you, or g3. But he decided to play knight takes, rook b2, hitting the queen. Now you see the rook can't move because of the pin against the king. Queen to c6. This is very drawish, very drawish. And people that tell you that chess is just about calculation and tactics, it's a lot of that. But it's also a psychological game. Karjakin is on move 37. He's already lost the first game. Dodged several bullets to get to the finals. Your nerves are on edge. This is a big deal. It's a $40,000 difference between first and second. Now, granted, it's a little anticlimactic because even if you get second, you automatically go to the candidates' final tournament to play for the World Championship. Whoever wins that. But all those things together, and you blunder. Queen to d5 was the move, forcing the trade of queens. But instead he played rook to b5. And that's the beginning of the end. He should have played queen to d5. After queen takes, bishop takes, everything is cool. He's fine. I don't think there's any way White can win this, but he certainly can't lose. But after rook to b5, the killer move, and a subtle one at that, king to h8. And this is what happens. You blunder, and then you blunder again. Queen to d5 is the move. Or excuse me, bishop takes. The rook on f7. Sorry, I lost my place there. But he miscues again. Rook d5. Horrible mistake. That's mistakes that we make. The move should have been bishop takes, queen takes, bishop e6, check, king h2. I don't know if White can survive that. But after rook to d5, he goes knight to b6. And not only is he down a piece for a pawn, he's going to lose another piece. And that's where Sergei Karjakin resigned. To do two blunders like that in a row is not like these guys. And that is what I mean by chess is a psychological game. Well, there you are, folks. Sergei Karjakin loses with White. Down 2-0. Can he come back? We'll see in round 3. Until then, I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.